Frankie Russo over here, 77 WABC. I got my producer over here. We're getting ready to do our Frankie Russo pre-show number 106. America's team, look for the icon. We're going to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. We're going to help America's team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces to fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Our funding goal is $50,000. We're going to rent some rooms. We're going to buy some handheld biofeedback devices. We're going to get the zero-based gravity chairs. We get some doctors and nurses. And we're going to make it happen. Slowly but surely, we're going to make this happen. Go to the icon on Facebook.com/Frankie Russo Show. Click on the icon. Go to the funding mechanism. Click on it, and let's make it happen. You got to do this. Okay, and here's my model. I start my pre-show every time with the model. Fraudulent Selective Service Card, statistically significant, Barack Obama. Memorandum of Understanding in 2008 with the Clinton Foundation. We got the Iranian Global Terror Network, and we got the surrogates, and we got all this whole timeline. And I add to it every week. I don't know about this week. There aren't too many. There's some stuff going on with Iran and the terror, some side stuff. So we're going to start off with, I was having a little conversation with my producer over here before we went live on this thing. Should I go there? I'm going to go there, right?
Okay.
Marco Rubio. Nobody wants to talk about Rubio. Everybody's attacking Trump. Rubio, Cruz, the Fox News moderators, they all attack Trump. Nobody talks about it. They love it. Attack, attack, attack. And nobody focuses on them and what they've done and their past and their narrative as far as their history. It's just bizarre to me. Now, this is what I found bizarre about Rubio. You know, call me a whack job, call me a loon job, I don't know. This was bizarre to me. Oh, I passed it. Okay, so I'm on the Wikipedia of Rubio. I found this bizarre. Now, he's born in Florida, and everybody knows he's a birthright citizen in Florida to two foreign national parents. His parents were not American citizens at the time of his birth. Before I get to his parents, his grandfather initially, according to this, they say he immigrated legally, then returned to Cuba to find work in 59. His grandfather returned to the USA in 62 without a visa. Really? He was detained as an undocumented immigrant. An immigration judge ordered him deported. He was deported. The deportation order was not enforced, and Rubio's grandfather remained in the U.S. illegally and reapplied for permanent resident status in 66, 10 years later, following passage of the Cuban Adjustment Act, at which point his residency was approved. You believe this narrative? It's crazy stuff, right? Well, it gets even crazier. His parents were Cubans who immigrated to the United States in 56, prior to the rise of Castro in January of 59. His mother, listen to this, his mother made at least 4 trips back after Castro's victory, including for a month in 61. Who are they? Who is Rubio? Who are you? Who are you? His mother made at least 4 trips back after Castro's victory. Who are you? Who are you, Marco Rubio? Who are you? He did a coup d'etat on Batista. Am I wrong? A coup d'etat. A military takeover. And his mother's going back and forth to Cuba 4 times after Castro's victory. Who are you, Marco Rubio? That's the question I want to know. Who are you, Marco Rubio? Are you doing what Cruz's father did? Cruz's father claims to be fighting against the Batista's government alongside of Castro. And all of a sudden he got an epiphany and he realized he was dumbfounded. He couldn't believe it. But Castro was a communist And he had to leave. Really? Do you believe that? By the way, for the record, for the record, now I'm Catholic. Doesn't matter to me. I get along with everybody. Other forms of Christian denominations within the Christian faith. I have no problem. But this is Rubio. He was Catholic. Then he became a Mormon. Then he became a Catholic. Then he became a Baptist. Then he became a Catholic. Who does that remind you of? The foreign national in the White House, Barry the Muslim Saturo. He was a Christian. He's a Muslim. He was a Muslim. He's a Christian. He's who knows who he is? Who even knows what? It's just like unbelievable. Obama opened up the door, and Cruz and Rubio are the next candidates. This is insanity. Because when it really comes down to it, Obama has a fraudulent Secret Service card, statistically significant. John McCain was born on the Panama Canal, United States territory, right? Father was a 4-star admiral. Grandfather was a 4-star admiral. Mother and father were born in America. They did a hearing in the United States Senate. I read it. I can't find it. I should have downloaded it in 2008, 2009. Why am I not shocked? I can't find it anymore. And came out of the hearing was a resolution, U.S. Resolution 511. John McCain is a natural-born citizen, co-sponsored by, why am I not shocked, Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. So let me ask you, Ted Cruz is born in Canada with a Canadian birth certificate, became United States Senator in 2012 as a Canadian citizen, no naturalization papers. According to Lori Stacy of the Washington Examiner, his parents voted in Canada in 72. Ted Cruz was born in 70. She had to give up her American citizenship to become a Canadian citizenship in order to vote in 72. In addition, what's his name? Cruz claims dual citizenship. Dual citizenship, according to Lori Stacy of the Washington Examiner, which isn't an ally of Trump, dual citizenship in Canadian law didn't happen until 77. He was born in 70. A lot of stuff that's got to be flushed out over here. Crazy stuff, right? Why didn't they open up this Resolution 511 and have a full-blown hearing on this stuff? They did it with John McCain. Both parents were born in America. He was born on the Panama Canal. Crazy stuff, right? Rubio, birthright citizen, born to 2 citizen parents. Crazy stuff. Born to 2 foreign nationals. He's a birthright citizen. Donald Trump, mother was born in Scotland, married in 36 to his father, who was an American citizen, naturalized in 42. Donald Trump was born in 46, born in America to 2 citizen parents. That's the difference. Now, it's my understanding through the constitutional scholars, the New York Times, the natural born citizen clause has to be defined. It hasn't been flushed out. So this is why we got all this wiggle room. With Obama opened the door with its wiggle room, with the pushback. Obama, Cruz, it hasn't been defined. What is it? What is it? And you know, everything's up in the air and everybody's running around, and we don't do our due diligence. We don't vet these people. And just the takeaway on all this, which I believe sums up this entire problem that we have with vetting our leadership. Okay? Birthright citizen, born in America to 2 foreign national parents. Ted Cruz is against it. Marco Rubio is against it. Really? Are you kidding me? Ted Cruz wasn't even born here, and he's got an opinion on birthright citizenship. He was born in Canada. Birthright citizens are born here to 2 foreign nationals, like Anwar al-Awlaki. Anwar al-Awlaki, I got it right. He was born here in America to 2 foreign nationals. He was educated here. college. I think he got a P. I know he got a graduate degree here, and he ended up going out to Yemen and talking about international and global jihad out in Yemen. And he was out all the way out. He almost got involved in. He was involved with Major Hassan, the soldier of Allah, who unfortunately killed 13 Americans on a military base on Al-Awlaki. And what's really crazy is he almost got involved in the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, which was funded by the Obama-Clinton administration with Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Qatar to take out Gaddafi, the precursor to Benghazi. But instead, he got whacked in September of 2011 because he was on his way toward Libya by a drone. So, just to give you an idea of birthright citizenship, I know I'm getting off a little, and then Marco Rubio, who's a birthright citizen, is against birthright citizenship. What is going on here? This is such a farce that everybody wants to call, everybody's calling Trump all these names, fraud, con artists. These guys are the con artists. Let me tell you. We're going to move forward now. Enough on that. Here's an interesting one. New documents reveal Boston Marathon bombers randomly selected spots they placed the bomb according to the according to the headline here. New documents reveal about, I think they were okay, yeah. The documents released showed that the brother passed the U.S. citizenship test and denied terrorist links just months before the bombing. Just for the record, it's crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff, man. Because we had Saeed Farouk and Tashfeen Malik out in Saudi Arabia got into a fiancé visa, and nobody checked the Facebook, and apparently the wife is posting all this radical jihad. So, I mean, I don't know. All I know is history keeps repeating itself, these repetitive cycles where the immigration authorities are just falling short here. So how are we going to vet and control these refugees from Somalia and Syria? It's crazy stuff. And I'll get the tie-in on that in a minute. Now, I got this other one here. Here's an interesting one. We're going to get on the election because obviously the election is a big thing. 20,000 Massachusetts Democrats switch parties before Super Tuesday. Thousands of Massachusetts Democrats have denounced their party affiliations since January 1st to jump across the aisle and join the ranks of independent Republicans. Nearly 20,000 base state Democrats, 1.3% of the party's Massachusetts population, left to vote in the Republican primary. More than 16,000 of that group have unenrolled or became independent voters. 3,500 have joined the GOP. The Massachusetts Secretary of State attributed the switches to the Trump phenomena. The Trump phenomena. Donald Trump, baby. The next president of the United States, I hope, for the grace of God. That was an interesting article. Report illegals rushing. Listen to this one. Illegals rushing to get into the United States before the Trump wall. GOP presidential frontrunner Donald Trump vowed to build a wall along the U.S.-Mexican border seems to be spurring more illegal immigration in recent months, according to Reuters. Get that right? Reuters. This was reported by Reuters and Breitbart News. Crazy stuff. Okay, we'll get to this one. This was about the other one. This was about the other one. I just clicked on it. Didn't go there. Believe it or not, lady babysitting cuts off the head of a 4-year-old, screams out Allah in the name of Allah. She had a dream the night before. You believe this stuff? This is crazy stuff. Can't make this stuff up. Voter turnout. Why the GOP is against Donald Trump, I don't understand. Georgia, GOP plus 35%. Democrats, comparing 2008 to 2016. In 2008 to 2016 versus 2008. Georgia, GOP plus 35%. Democrats, negative 32%. Massachusetts, plus 35%. Democrats, negative 5%. Oklahoma, plus 21%. Democrats, negative 22%. Tennessee, plus 63% in the GOP. Democrats, negative 40%. Vermont, plus 57%. Democrats, negative 13%. Virginia, plus 110%. That's the GOP. The Democrats, the turnout, negative 14%. Crazy stuff. Okay, here's another one. Justice Department grants immunity to staffer. The Justice Department has granted immunity to a former State Department of staffer who worked on Hillary Clinton's private email server as part of a criminal investigation into the possible mishandling of classified information. The officials said the FBI had secured the cooperation of Byron Pagliano, who worked on Clinton's 2008 presidential campaign before setting up the server in her New York home in 2009. What do you think of that one? Crazy stuff. Beneath Hillary Clinton's Super Tuesday wins, signs of turnout trouble. And we talked about that already. Here's an interesting one. Trump wins in America's most Hispanic city. New York real estate developer Donald Trump beat out his Republican rivals in America's most Hispanic city Tuesday in Texas. Webb County, Texas, home of Laredo, where 96% of its residents consider themselves Hispanic. Laredo makes up 95% of the population of Webb County and is the county seat. It has the most Hispanics per capita of any city with more than 100,000 residents. While the Republicans' presence in the border county is certainly low, with only 4,000 votes in the primary, Trump won with nearly 35%. He beat out Rubio and Cruz. Mexico launches diplomatic campaign to counter Trump. Mexico's government is launching a diplomatic campaign to create a better public image of Mexico for United States citizens, and officials plan to ultimately meet 2016's presidential candidates to further the effort. Boy, they're worried about Trump, huh? Unbelievable. We got to vote Trump in. He hasn't even gotten in yet. And all the stuff is going on with China, what they did. They talked about don't do anything punitive with the currency. China did a reach out. Mexico did a reach out before. It's crazy stuff. Record turnout. Overall gross votes. Turnout in 2016 Super Tuesday states. In 2016, Republicans got 8,307,000. Democrats got 5,557,000. In 2008, Republicans got 5,025,000. And at this point in time, Democrats got 8,228,000. At this point in time, the Republicans are outpacing the Obama machine in 8. And Obama machine was pretty impressive. Trump dominates the huge turnout. Well, we know that Trump won Trump has won thus far 10 of the 15 states. He's got over 316 delegates, and he's well on his way, with the grace of God, to the nomination. All right, we got 10 more minutes. Okay, we've already said this one, the immunity article. Marco Rubio's Senate voting record much worse than other senators, says vote tracking site. According to the vote tracking site, Marco Rubio claims to a close 90% attendance record in the Senate. Rubio told reporters in Iowa that he had close to a 90% attendance record in the Senate, as he was defending against a criticism by fellow GOP Christie for not showing up for a vote against the $1.1 trillion. He should have shown up for that. This fraud. But according to government data collected by the governmenttrack.us, senators' attendance record from 2011 to December 2015, Rubio missed 197 votes of the 1482 call votes. That's almost 13.5% of his votes he missed. Very bad. Which is much worse than the median, which is the average, 1.7% among the lifetime records of senators. That's crazy. Rubio's attendance record is closer to 86.7%. Rubio. This fraud. Unbelievable. Rubio's comments about North Florida has angered some in the Panhandle. According to the Northwest Florida Daily News, I'm trying to, my computer's crashing. Let me see if I can get rid of some of these. I'm not going to get rid of that one. I'm not getting rid of that one either. I'll get rid of this one. I'm getting rid of some articles so it'll pop up. I'll get some movement down. Okay. Come on, man. Let's get some movement on this article. My computer's crashing. Okay, I'll get back to it. Oh, here's an interesting one. Rubio's path to an outright win has vanished. His campaign is forced to a delegate denial strategy against Trump. So, Rubio has problems. Though they profess that they have a strategy or whatever. I guess he feels that don't talk about who he is and his narrative as how he became this United States senator. He don't want to talk about that or talk about his record. He'd rather talk about Donald Trump, and he figures he could talk about Trump, and he's gonna negative talk his way into the White House. It's never happened. Insanity. Marco Rubio has his comments as a result of the primary. Rubio appeared to attempt to diminish North Florida as a voting force. Florida shares media markets with 19 counties in Alabama, Georgia, and in these counties, Trump beat you 50% to 16%. Wow. He goes, I wouldn't analyze it that way. Obviously, there are important counties and great people that live in those counties, but you're talking about North Florida, not heavily populated areas. They're important, very conservative areas, and we're going to do well there as well. But again, that is not an accurate analysis of Florida, where the bulk of the vote comes from the I-4 corridor, Southwest Florida, and of course his home area of Miami, even up into Jacksonville. Crazy stuff. Shane Moody, president and CEO of Destin Chamber of Commerce, says it's discouraging that a Republican senator from Florida who's seeking a nomination for the President of the United States would make comments about a portion of his state not being as important as other more populated areas. This Rubio is one big fraud, I'm telling you, man. One big fraud. Let's see, we got a few more minutes. Trump won over 7 online polls. Now, online polls are not scientifically significant polling, so it's good for conversation. But hey, when you're talking about 7 to 10 polls online, I mean that's got to say something. I'm not saying it's statistically significant, but he won according to the polls. He won a debate. Boeing has gotten an invitation from Iran to talk about planes. Tehran buys Airbus planes despite Boeing's lobbying for a nuclear deal. Oh, here's a video. Glenn Beck said if he was ever close to Trump, he wouldn't stop stabbing him. You believe that? Here's the polls for Super Tuesday, Saturday, tomorrow. March 5th, Kansas, 40 delegates. Trump's up the latest polls, up 12 points. Kentucky, 45 delegates. Trump's up 13 points. Louisiana, Trump's up 19 points. I don't have Maine here, but I know that he's been endorsed by the big governor. He's very popular, so Trump's looking good over there. In addition, March 8th, Trump's up 15 points in Michigan, and Mississippi is up 24 points. Latest polls. A-Rod, a little sidebar. I'm a baseball fan. A-Rod, with 654 homers, is reflecting on as he approaches the Babe Ruth milestone of 714 home runs. Just 6 shy of Hall of Famer Willie Mays, his 660 career bomb, and he's 12th on as a home runs as a Yankee, 12th on that list. With 27 more, he'll tie legendary Yankee slugger, immortal icon Babe Ruth. He's got 654 home runs for his career. He started 2015 with 654 home runs. I think he had 32. So that gives him 686. I stand corrected. So he passed Willie Mays. He moved into 4th place alone with 661. So right now it's Bonds, Aaron, Root, and Rodriguez right now. 4 top home run hitters. Very good. So he's on his way to do for Babe Ruth. Amazing. Breitbart's editor gets Mitt Romney sex tape trending to mock Trump tax rumor. Romney began the rumor that there was a bombshell in Donald Trump's tax returns that would hurt his standing in the Republican presidential primary. Okay? What is beyond disgraceful, though, is Romney, a man who himself was a victim of these McCarthyite tactics, gleefully practicing the same as Trump, with no evidence, nothing to back up his allegations, his accusations. The same Mitt Romney who lacked the nerve to prosecute Obama over Benghazi demanded a fellow Republican prove he's not a communist liar, thief, or felon. Later that afternoon, Nolte, one of the editors of Breitbart, turned the tables on Romney with a similar insinuation that the twice-failed president candidate had something to hide that is much more intimate than taxes. If you believe Mitt Romney should release his sex tape, let's get Romney to release his sex tape. He needs to prove he doesn't have one. In the evening, the hashtag Organic blew up to 20,000 tweets. One person created a dedicated account, Mitt Romney tape. Nolte says Romney is going after Trump out of personal ambition rather than concern for Republican Party. Mitt Romney is hoping to disrupt the Republican primary, sneak into the convention, and steal the nomination through a dirty backroom deal. He wants a third slot at losing the presidency. If there's a sex tape out there, the American people need to know about it. And if there isn't a sex tape out there, Mr. Romney needs to reassure the American people by proving it. What do you think?
You did it. It's 20 past.
Okie dokes. And then we got Jim Webb, a big, a former Democratic candidate, won't be voting for Hillary Clinton, and he hasn't ruled out casting his vote for Donald Trump. Interesting stuff. Okay, so I went through most of these articles. I went through every one, as a matter of fact. Frankie Russo over here. We finished the pre-show. We're going to get ready to go live in about a half hour. Remember? Go to the America's Team icon and help America's Team help the men and women of the United States Armed Forces to fight post-traumatic stress disorder. Frankie Russo pre-show. I'll see you. I left my hat on. I left my hat on. I didn't take it off. See you in about a half hour. Frankie Russo. Yeah, 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 yeah. I forgot my hat.
You did the Yankee story. It was great. Okay.
Oh, my God.